Hello, Virgo loves. It's Kat here from Self Unity. And for today's reading, we are creating a soul activation message that is meant to activate your soul in relation to anything that you are working through at this time. And so for today's reading, we are using this beautiful Beyond Lemuria Oracle deck. And I am so excited and grateful to share this deck with you all today because it is one that I have worked with for quite some time, and it's one that I've kept to myself because I really wanted to get familiar with the beautiful illustrations in this deck, and it's also just deeply, deeply activating. It's so astounding how deeply activating the messages that come through are and just how much in alignment they are. So I'm really excited and grateful to be sharing this deck with you all finally. So let's go ahead and get into it and let's see what your soul activation messages are today. All right, so I'm going to pull all your oracle cards first, and then we will get into your messages. Okay, let's pull one more. Okay, we're going to take this one. Okay, so let's see what your cards are here, Virgo. Okay, we have 46 Starseer. Starseer. There's something that you are working towards. 14 Earth, nurture, nature. But you may be getting in your head a little bit and you need to ground back down into Earth. Yeah, 17 awakened awareness. Wow, these cards together are powerful. And we also have 49 the infinite. Wow. Wow. Okay, Virgo. So right away, your message is coming through so clearly, and your cards were actually coming out with, like, they were coming out really fluidly, which signifies the energy that you're in as well, where you're in this very fluid, very like flowy energy. And so what I'm seeing with your message, though, is that you are receiving powerful downloads. Like, you are tapped into the infinite cosmos and to your own infinite intuitive abilities and nature, and your ability to just tap into this like innate cosmic awareness. Okay, so like if you zoom out, our consciousness is but a like minuscule part in the cosmic nature of all life, and you are like tapped into that infinite essence of the cosmic influence of all life. And so with that being said too, I'm feeling like you are just like tapped in and getting all these downloads for new ideas. But there is like a very specific one that you are attaching to. Okay, so what I'm seeing is you're getting all these downloads and insights, but you have a very specific goal in mind. Okay, so even though you're coming up with a lot of different ideas, there's one focal point that all these ideas are branching off of. So I'm kind of seeing that Venn diagram where you have like one bubble in the middle, and then you draw a line and you create another bubble for an idea that can branch off of that idea, and then you have another bubble over here, and then lots of little bubbles for those side bubbles. Okay, and so I'm seeing like you have this main focal point, this main goal idea, but you have all these other ideas around you that you are tapped into and trying to create or work on or work through. Okay, however, I do feel that you may be getting really caught up in the energy of like all these other things, that you may tend to lose sight of your main reasoning or that main focal point, that initial little bubble that you drew, and how you're going to create that actual goal that you have in mind. Okay, so don't lose sight of your truth, the true goal that you're wanting to work on and receive and achieve. Okay, and so Spirit's also saying here with this, I feel like you may be spending a lot of time in your mind as well, like maybe up in the clouds a bit, and you're needing to come back down to earth, ground into your body, and make sure that you're checking back in with yourself as you take these steps to achieve this goal, this desired outcome that you are working towards. Okay, because you have to make sure that, you know, your cup is filled up before you're filling up the cup of others and before you're filling up the cup of your ideas and goals. Okay, Virgo. Wow, your message is like so straightforward. Let's see if we can get some more from this here. I was getting another message around like how you are trying to make all the things happen. Like you have this main goal, but you have all these little side goals that you need to achieve or pursue in order to make this one big goal happen. And Spirit's saying don't spread yourself too thin, and just remember that you can only work on one thing at a time. Okay, it can be very easy to get caught up in this energy of really busying yourself and trying to multitask and trying to make all these things happen at once so that you can reach that main goal with a lot like a lot quicker and a lot more ferocity. But Spirit is reminding you to also enjoy the process. And they're also saying here that if you are spreading yourself too thin and you're trying to make all these other side tasks happen at once, you may lose sight of something, you may miss out on something, or you may make mistakes and have to kind of backtrack a little bit. And so that's why it's also important for you to make sure that you're grounding into yourself. You're coming back down to planet Earth, remembering that you're human. Yes, we want to believe that we are all superhumans and we can get all the things done in a day or a week or a month's time, but this is going to take time. And so it's very important that you're coming back to yourself and making time to ground into your own energy. And Virgo, you're also an earth sign here. So that's why it's even more important to make sure that you're grounding back down into yourself and also tending to your physical environments as well, Virgo. I feel like Virgo a lot of the time is associated with being like a very clean, very organized sign. But here in your reading today, I'm feeling as though some of those things may be getting a little bit away from you because you're so hyper focused on wanting to achieve this goal. You're focused on reaching for the stars, reaching for the top, trying to create something magical, that you are just allowing things that you would normally tend to in your day-to-day to kind of fall to the wayside. And so just make sure that you're coming again back down, grounding back down into earth, into yourself, into your body, and into your environment, and tending to the things that you need to tend to allow that fluidity to continue to be flowing in your life. Okay, let's see. I'm also getting this message coming in just now around a relationship where some of you are awakening to some type of awareness within a relationship, a connection that you have in your life. This does feel like a love-based relationship, romantic relationship, but it could also be like a business relationship or a friend relationship, but I'm heavily picking up on love-based energy here. And there's just something that you're awakening to, something that you're becoming aware of that you weren't allowing yourself to be conscious of before. It's like you may have had an intuitive feeling that there was something going on around something very specific. This is going to be different for everyone. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a negative thing, but it is something that's a little bit concerning, and it is going to require your attention, and it's requiring your awareness now in order for you to maybe be of support or to address this situation so that you can heal it on your own as an individual or together with this other person, and you can overcome this experience, this situation together. Okay, so the other thing that I'm really drawn to here is we've got the third eye here, and then we have this awakened, presumed third eye here as well. So and then we have all the purples too. Like there's a lot of purples being showcased on each of your cards here. And then we've got the pinks and the greens, which symbolize the heart chakra, and the purple symbolize the third eye chakra. So you are definitely advancing in your psychic abilities, receiving those intuitive downloads, receiving new ideas, infinite ideas coming in for you right now. And so what Spirit's saying around that is, one, write down these ideas. You don't have to pursue them all right now in this moment. You may be feeling very called to, very much in this energy of like being propelled into wanting to accomplish and achieve all these ideas as they come to you. But Spirit's again saying to take your time with it. Okay, you don't have to pursue all these ideas right now in the moment that you're receiving them. And so they're saying to write down these ideas and then come back to them later when you are grounded and you are centered in your own being and your intuition is clear and aligned. And when you are able to really tap into your heart center and view these ideas and inspirations from a place of feeling grounded and aligned in your center, so that way you can decide from your heart space which ideas it is that you are wanting to actually pursue, which ones actually resonate with you from your heart center, from the energy of love. Okay, because not all of these ideas are really grounded and rooted in the almost like the evolution of what it is that you're trying to receive. Okay, they have potential and they hold this energy of possibility, but as you get these ideas, it's like, it's like a spark goes off and it's like, wow, that would be a great idea. But in that moment that you're receiving it, and it could be that it's a solution, but it could also be that there could be like some setbacks attached to it that you may not fully be aware of. But you're just so excited to receive these ideas in the moment that they come in. And so that's why Spirit's saying to really write down these ideas, kind of put them off to the side for a day or two, and then come back to it once you've allowed that energy to kind of flow through, you've tended to other things, so that you can look at these ideas with a new mindset, a fresh mindset, and so that way you're grounded in your energy, in your body, and connected to your heart space, and can really decide if this is something that's actually going to work for the main thing that you're trying to receive or achieve. Or if it's something that's going to kind of distract you from getting there, or if it's going to take a lot more time, or if there's like other things that are a little bit more important than those new ideas that are just barely coming in. Okay, so this is almost like giving the energy of Mercury retrograde. So anytime Mercury is retrograde, Mercury rules our mind, our mental thinking, and it's also, so when it's moving retrograde, it's essentially moving backwards from our perspective and how we see Mercury normally rotating. And so when Mercury is retrograde, very often astrologers will say if you are getting new ideas during Mercury retrograde, it's not the time to really be pursuing them. It's not the time to be signing new contracts in that moment that you receive it, or in that moment that Mercury's in its period of retrograde, which is only about 3 weeks time, 3 to 4 weeks time. And so this is like that energy that you might be in right now, where like you're receiving a lot of new ideas, new opportunities, possibilities, potential paths opening up for you, but you really want to take your time reflecting on and deciding which one is actually going to get you there, which one's going to be the best journey for you. In your heart center, I didn't even realize like you're the earth sign and there's her heart center right here. Which one's going to make you shine? Which one's going to make you feel as though you're living in your truth and speaking from your truth and experiencing life from the depths of your truth and your heart center? And which one's going to allow you to feel really grounded and supported and stable in this earthly experience, okay? And which one's going to provide you with the things that you are desiring to receive in order to feel secure and safe and supported in your physical spaces as well, and also in your emotional spaces as well, because we did have that relationship energy coming up too. And so just take your time taking in all this new energy, all this new information, these new ideas, these new possibilities and opportunities that are landing on your doorstep, coming into your third eye. People reaching out to you, businesses reaching out to you, wanting to work with you. Just take your time, really reflecting on, studying, and deciding essentially which one is going to be most supportive to you. And also, Virgo, I feel like you need to hear this. If you choose a path and then you start walking upon that path, or you choose to pursue one of these ideas or these opportunities or a relationship, and you are a week, 2 weeks, maybe a couple months into connecting with that energy, and you get to a point where you awaken yourself to the awareness that it's not actually in alignment with what you want to be experiencing, you can backtrack and change your mind, go back to the drawing board, reassess those past ideas that you have written down, okay, and decide again. You can choose a different path that may get you there quicker, that may be just better for you, more supportive to your journey, and to allowing you to achieve that big goal that you have in mind that you're reaching towards. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the numerology here. So we have 3 4s. So 4s may be significant to you, Virgo. 4s are the number of evolution and growth. This is also the number of transformation. This is also the number of things being in alignment. Okay, this can represent the 4 elements, the 4 directions. And so this is also about choosing, new paths, aligning yourself to new energy. Okay, let's see what else. So Spirit really wanted me to mention the 4s. And then we also have 6 and 7 and the 9s there. Let's see. Yeah, just the 4s are a big one here for you. And then, so I was going to say it's like you're taking steps because we've got the 7, 6, 7, 9. And then I had 1, 2 on my clock right now. So this is also like an energy of taking steps, but while you're on this journey of taking steps, you're going to be like taking leaps, okay? Because like we go from 14 to 17, we've got the 6, 7, 9. And so it's like, 6, 7, skipping 8, go to 9, 14, skip 15, 16, go to 17. And so that's why it's going to be very important for you to come back into yourself, really reflect on which path you want to move forward with, which connections you want to move forward with, which ones you want to leave behind, which ones you don't want to pursue, which ones are not good ideas, because in those periods of reflections is when you're actually going to be able to allow yourself to progress a lot quicker in this path and journey to get to that quote unquote end goal that you're reaching for and that you're seeking. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of the symbolism here. I'm really drawn to the infinity symbol here, and infinity symbols always make me think of tattoos because that is one of the most common tattoos that people get. And so somebody may be thinking of getting a tattoo, maybe of an infinity symbol, also maybe of like a beetle here, but tattoos in general, it could really be anything. Let's see what else is coming up here. I'm really drawn to the ladder as well. So ladders could be significant to somebody where maybe you're going to have to do something that requires you to actually get out a physical ladder. Maybe working on the roof, clearing off leaves off the roof, tending to your home in some way, changing light bulbs, changing a ceiling fan, dusting, maybe just getting on the ladder to dust around the ceiling or the corners of the room, anything like that. So anything that requires a ladder. And then also hanging things up too. So maybe you're getting out a ladder because you're setting up a new office space. You want to hang some things up higher up on the wall, and so you need a ladder. And then this can also be symbolic to like climbing the ladder. I'm hearing like climbing the corporate ladder, taking those steps upward, evolving to new heights. And you're getting yourself there very quickly. Okay, like you're not having to climb the mountaintop. You like put this little cheat code and you've got the ladder, you got the ropes, you've got the magic to allow yourself to get there a lot quicker. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull your next few cards. So I'm going to pull some oracle cards from this deck here. This is the Healing Waters Oracle. So let's see what Virgo needs to know from this deck here. Okay, we'll take that card wants to come out. And then let's get 2 more. Alright, let's see. What does Virgo need to know? So we have immerse yourself, training, learning, new hobbies, and passions. Yeah, this is definitely a new path that you are pursuing. We also have let it go, release the past, forgive, soften, and move forward. And we have Cosmic Ocean. Look at that, cosmic. I said you're like connected to this deep cosmic energy, like the infinite cosmic energy. Current dreams, future realities, and new beginnings. Wow, you have 2 cards with the word new on it. Awakened also means new, new levels of awareness. And then we have let it go. So I'm going to actually put these cards like this because this is kind of the order that we're going to be processing things in. So So, what I mean by that is, like I said, there could be something that you're coming into the awareness of, maybe around a relationship, maybe around like a habit pattern that you've developed, maybe within a job. Okay, but it really feels more connected to like a relationship or just like patterns, like ways of being, ways of doing things. And you're realizing that you need to make changes in the way that you're doing things. And that's why Spirit is really guiding you to write down those ideas and inspirations when they come to you, and to not just jump on them and get started moving forward with them right away, because you really need to reflect on what's going to be the best possible path moving forward for you. Okay, this is also around that energy around multitasking. You can't spread yourself thin. You can't be doing all these things at one time. Focus on just one thing, and your ability to get things done and to reach those new heights is going to happen with a lot more fluidity, a lot quicker momentum than if you were spreading yourself really thin and trying to do all these things at once. Okay, because you'll be able to just focus on that one thing. You'll be able to give it all your energy, all your attention, and so you'll be able to accomplish it with a lot more success and stability and support. Okay, because you won't be getting distracted, you won't be jumping from one thing to the other. You'll just be really focused on getting this one thing done, and then once it's done, you don't have to come back to it, you don't have to think about it again. It's set in place, and then you can start working on the other thing, the next thing, the thing that you wanted to jump around to, and then once you're done with that, you can move on to the next one, and things will just happen with it'll be a lot quicker, a lot more fluid, and it'll be more flowy. Okay, so yeah, so that's like the message around like habit patterns. Like the way you've been doing things really needs to change, really needs to shift in order for you to succeed in what it is that you're wanting to succeed in, what it is that you're wanting to reach for and receive and experience. And then some of you, I do feel there's like a shift in a relationship here. There's something that you're awakening to, something that you're developing an awareness around, something that you already kind of knew about. But again, it doesn't feel very heavy, it doesn't feel very negative, but it is going to initiate some type of change in this relationship. And again, it does feel connected to like the way that you've been doing things within this relationship, the way you've been connecting with one another, the way you've been communicating with one another. An aspect like that is what's going to be changing, what's going to be evolving. And so that's why you have this let it go card here, is because you're letting the old ways of being and embracing and doing things, you're releasing that to the past, and you're moving forward into new ways of being, experiencing, and embracing your life. So some of you could be going through some training experiences. So like maybe going back to school, maybe you're doing training for your job. Maybe some of you are going to be doing like relationship therapy or mentoring in order to help your relationship grow and evolve. Or, like I said, within the business world or corporate world, where you're taking new courses, you're going to training seminars, conferences to advance in your skill set, so that you can again like essentially climb up that corporate ladder and get to that end, quote unquote, end goal that you're reaching towards. Okay, let's see what else is coming through here. I think that's it for here, but I do want to mention the colorology here. We've got lots of blues on these cards, which makes sense because this is a Healing Waters Oracle deck, but not all the cards showcase like this prominent of blues. And I was feeling this energy around the throat chakra activation. Like I was kind of fumbling over my words a little bit in the beginning, and usually that's signifying like your energy here, Virgo, where you really need to I feel like you need to spend some time with your throat chakra. Okay, so I'm not seeing like it's not this energy where like you have something to say, but I feel like it's this energy where when you speak, are you speaking with confidence? Are you speaking with clarity? Are you speaking from a place where you are deeply confident in your skills and wisdom, and you just have that like unbridled confidence in yourself and your skills and your abilities. Okay, so the activation that needs to happen within your throat chakra is around your confidence and really believing in yourself, believing in your ideas, believing in your inspirations, and knowing that you've gone through the training, you've gone through the experiences, you've learned the things that you needed to learn to get to the place that you're at now and to get to the places that you're striving to be at. And so the only thing that could potentially be really holding you back from getting there is from allowing yourself to just own it. Own that you know what you're doing, and that when you speak with that projection of confidence in what it is that you have learned, what it is that you've experienced, and you just like speak from a place of experience. And that is naturally going to attract others to you in a way where they say like, wow, you really know what you're talking about. You should be at this higher level, or you should be doing this. And it's the things that you actually want to be doing, that you want to be embracing and connecting with. Or, you know, they'll tell you like, you should be connecting with this person. And it's like the person that you've been trying to connect with and align yourself with. So own it, Virgo, own it. Own your skills, own your wisdom. Own your experience and share your experience too. I feel like some of you need to hear that too, where you may be holding back a little bit on what it is that you've actually experienced. And there's something that kind of keeps pulling you to share about, but maybe it's a little bit taboo in the spaces that you're feeling called to share about it. But other people need to hear that you have gone through those experiences in those specific places, communities, jobs, relationships, because other people have gone through it too. And I feel like you speaking up about this is going to put you in a leadership role that shows other people like, hey, this has happened to me, but I made it through, and this is what I did to make it through. And you don't have to go through those experiences, because you know you're going to get to show them how to move through those communities, those environments, those relationships without having to go through the painful things that you went through. Okay, so there's something that you went through, that you experienced, that can definitely help others. It's just that nobody's talking about this in those places yet. So maybe in a job, a corporate environment, or again, a specific type of relationship, and you have the wisdom, the experience, and to be able to show others that they are safe, they are helped, and they are loved, and that they will be able to make it through those experiences the same way that you did, but maybe also in new ways. Like maybe you have tips and little tricks and words of wisdom and guidance that can help them move through that experience in a much different way than you had to move through it. Okay, so I'm going to pull a tarot card now from this deck here. This is the Tarot of the Divine. I'm just going to shuffle the deck a couple times, and then we'll get your tarot cards. But yeah, Virgo, believe in yourself. You need to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who will? You have to be the first one to believe in yourself. And Spirit's also saying, like, why did you put yourself through all that training, all those experiences, all that struggle, if you weren't meant to use it in the ways that you're feeling called to use it, if you weren't meant to share about it and speak up about it? Okay, so you have the Eight of Cups. This came out in somebody else's reading, but I don't remember whose reading it was. Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups. I think it came out in a couple readings. We also have the Four of Wands. Okay, so we've got Eight of Cups and Four of Wands. This energy feels like a reunion. I feel like it's a reunion, one of coming back to yourself, a reclamation of yourself, where you have had to really dig deep in your emotional cycles. You've had to go through some challenging emotional cycles, and whatever this experience is talking about, because for some of you it's about a job, it's about a career path, a business path, and then for some of you it's about a relationship. That's just like the bulk of what I'm picking up on here. And you have had to go through some challenging experiences that really tested your emotional capacity. And now that you've gone through those experiences, though, you are able to really guide others through those experiences without triggering those same emotions that others triggered within you by putting you through those experiences. So like you went through those experiences in a very challenging way, deep emotional way, because you are meant to reframe the way that people move through those experiences. And that's like the skill set, the wisdom that you have developed in being involved in these specific types of relationships or in this specific career path, where now you get to step up to a higher level, a higher like status essentially in this career field, this job path, or just in these relationships and the types of communities that these relationships exist in. And you get to guide others through these experiences in a way where they don't have to go through those same emotional cycles that you went through. And now you're getting to like really reclaim your truth, reclaim your power, and your ability to transform how you perceive and view these past experiences that you went through. Because before, initially, when you were going through them, you may have been looking at it with a very heavy heart, very negative mindset, wanting to give up, wanting to give in. But you feel now very grateful that you pushed through all that energy, because it's gotten you to the point that you wanted to be at, where you're at now and where you're reaching towards. Like, you're just like right there. You're so close to having that end goal that we talked about in the beginning of your reading. But the main thing of this journey that you've been on is that it's really bringing you back into the depths of your power and allowing you to access that inner confidence, that inner wisdom that you possess and have always possessed. All right, loves, let's go ahead and pull your last card now. So also Spirit wants me to talk about the 4 wands here. So somebody could be, I feel like somebody's attending a marriage ceremony. So like a wedding, going to a wedding, party celebrations. I'm also picking up on like cultural events. Okay, so somebody could be planning to go to like a cultural event, like a celebration that is celebrated in a very specific culture. It could be I'm seeing like an array of things. So it could be any kind of cultural celebration, maybe even like family reunions, graduations too, of course, and also just celebrations of like success, like accomplishment. Okay, like somebody's getting recognized, maybe even like retirement ceremonies and things like that. So there's some type of celebrations coming up for you, Virgo. Okay, so we're gonna pull one last card from this deck here. This is the Self-Awareness Oracle deck. And these cards have questions on them that you can choose to just reflect on within yourself, or I highly recommend that you journal out your question or your answers to these questions to help you work through and integrate all the messages that came through in your reading today. All right, so let's go ahead and see what card does Virgo need. For Virgo. Let's see. All right, here we go. Oh, wow, we love this. Do you know all your strengths, and are you using them? Yes, that's like your confidence there. Do you know all your strengths, and are you using them? All right, so Spirit's highly recommending that you journal out your answers to these questions. Journaling and writing is coming through very strongly for you, Virgo. Just like I said in the beginning, when you're getting all these downloads of ideas and inspirations and paths to pursue, if you're getting a lot of different opportunities coming at you from other people or job opportunities coming in, write them down, journal them down, so that way you can return to it later, reflect on it, and decide which ones you're wanting to move forward with. But also Spirit wants you to record your answers to these questions, because you will be able to really see what your strengths are and bring them deeper into not only conscious awareness but also physical awareness, which it's also going to be something that you can choose to look back on later when you're feeling like things may not quite be going your way. You can look back on, well, what are my strengths and how am I meant to be using them? And it will serve as like a reminder for you to really tap back into those inner strengths that you already know you have, and to be able to use them in whatever situation's calling you to use them in. Okay, but let's see what it says on the back here. We all have superpowers, but it's up to us to uncover them. When you live and lead with your strengths, you are able to show up in your zone of genius. This inspire others to do the same. Yeah, this is what you're meant to do. You're meant to inspire others in some way, and it's through accessing your strengths and and also being a little bit vulnerable with what you went through to get to a place of really knowing what your strengths are and to be able to show up and live and lead with your strengths is going to inspire others to do the same, and to also not have to go through those same struggles that you went through to have to get to this point of accessing really knowing what your strengths are. Okay, so your soul action today, Virgo, is ask yourself, how can I use one of my soul's gifts today to contribute to this open and ready world? All right, ask yourself, how can you use one of your soul's gifts today to contribute to this open and ready world? The world is ready for your superpowers. The world is ready to see these soul gifts that you have. And the world is ready for you to tap into your inner strength and to move forward accordingly. Also, journal out your answers to this question in relation to this one here. What are your strengths and how can you use them? All right, Virgo loves, that is it for your reading today. I thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this reading, please give this video a thumbs up and know that I'm sending you so much love, Virgo. Until next time, bye, loves.